supported and encouraged and fed and nurtured. There is tutoring and support through to college graduation. So if you are lucky enough to get into the Promise Academy, which is one of the schools run by the Harlem Children's Zone, Jeffrey Canada will promise those parents that that child will graduate from college. And part of how it's done is an intense program of training and apprenticeship and tutoring and ensuring that kids can succeed. And what that has done is create a culture of success. And that's really what we're trying to do in Strathcona for our children, is to create a culture of success. There is job placement. There is building restoration and community beautification and community organizing, tenants associations, repair and restoration programs for aging infrastructure and rental housing. And above all, there's a comprehensive program to prevent child apprehensions of children. So we see this model in New York, and our belief is that if they can do it there, we can do it here. And we are urging our politicians to support this approach and to abandon some of their old practices of tendering contracts to the low bidder, who might be a private company operating under the U.S. who comes in here and provides critical social services. What we want are services that support and enhance natural community networks. And we believe that's the way to build community capacity and to create the kind of culture we want our children to grow up in. So that's what we mean by place-based strategy. If anyone is interested in additional information, I'm going to refer you to Carol Brown or Sabine, and we do have a brief that lays out our 12-step program to achieving a place-based strategy in Strathcona. It will only cost $1 million, a mere fraction of the stadium roof. And we are hoping for your support and encouragement in getting our municipal and provincial and federal governments to support our children in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Fern. Next up is Vivian Naraki. She's our wonderful nurse practitioner who graduated out of the first nurse practitioner class at the University of Victoria in 2005. Prior to this, Vivian spent many years working in adolescent psychiatry at BC Children's Hospital, first as a staff nurse and then as a clinical nurse coordinator of adolescent psychiatry. Vivian has always had a passion for working with youth and their families and has developed a special interest in working with the vulnerable population in particular. Welcome, Vivian.
Thank you very much, Grace. Good morning and welcome, everybody. Does everybody know what a nurse practitioner is? It's a quick little question. If you think of basically I'm a registered nurse who went back to school, got a master's education in nursing and became licensed as an NP. So if you think of your registered nurse over here and your general practitioner, also your doctor on this side, nurse practitioners were about right here. So the ability of a nurse practitioner and a family nurse practitioner is to assess, diagnose, prescribe, treat, and refer patients. So why am I here? Well, I'm one of two family nurse practitioners employed by BC Children's Hospital who are place-based in this community to provide primary health care to women and children in the inner city. The actual umbrella that I fall under is called the RICHER initiative. Lots of acronyms, unfortunately. RICHER stands for Responsive, Intersectoral, and Interdisciplinary Child Healthcare Education and Research. Under that larger umbrella are two smaller ones. The Social Pediatrics Initiative, which is includes myself as a clinician, and Lorraine Scott's my other colleague. And then we have the SPOC, group, which is Specialized Physician Outreach, Child and Consultation for Children and Kids. So what does this all mean? I know it's pretty confusing. It took me a while to get all these acronyms straight myself. So basically, Lorraine and myself, we do provide, as I said, primary health care. We have approximately 11 clinics throughout the week at 10 different venues. Different venues that range from daycares, elementary schools, secondary school, community centers, goodness. And that's kind of about it, but they're all in the inner city. So Strathcona Elementary School, Strathcona Community Center, Seymour Elementary, Grandview Elementary, Britannia Secondary School, Nisus, Raycam, Phil Bouvier, and everywhere else. So basically the points brought forth by my colleagues before me are the areas that we're really concerned about. Child's health. Penny had an excellent example about children's development and how sometimes it's just being not caught on time. And why is that? The challenge for a lot of people is sometimes getting an opportunity to go see their physician for health care. Okay? There's always lots of reasons why people can't make it. They have other children they have to look after. Sometimes it's difficult getting a bus to go to the doctor. If it's a specialist appointment, they have to go all the way to Children's Hospital. That's quite a ways. So the philosophy behind Richer is place-based healthcare. So instead of build it and they will come, we, the healthcare providers, are coming. Can you hear? Because I can't. So we, instead of building it and they will come, we are going to where it is already built. We are going to places in the community where people naturally go, where they have to go. Parents have to bring their children to daycare. They have to bring their children to schools. Okay, so if there's health care at those places, what a great opportunity. It's a one-stop shop. Additionally, because we represent BC Children's Hospital, and we do have specialists that we also work with, as I mentioned, the SPOT, which is Specialized Physician Outreach. In that particular group, we have developmental pediatricians, we have adolescent medicine specialists, we have pediatricians, we have a psychiatrist. So instead of seeing a child and making a referral over to Sunny Hill Hospital, which, as a lot of people know, can often take up to 8 months, I can see that child in the daycare because one of the daycare staff said, Vivian, come over here. I'm really concerned about Susie. She doesn't walk like a 1-year-old should be walking, and she doesn't talk. I will see that child, make them do an assessment, and then make a referral to one of my colleagues, sort of bypassing that 8-month wait list, hopefully, and the ultimate goal is that they can get assessed and resources can be put into place. Pardon me, I'm getting a little dry here. So how we do that is, again, it's not just coming into the places where the people are that we just sit there and wait for people to come and see us. It's also based on the principle of relationships. Because I have a relationship with people who actually already work in the community, such as Sabine, Carol Brown, Kate Hodgson at Nisus, the people are more willing to come and see me because Sabine will bring somebody to me and say, hey, you should come and talk to Vivian sometimes. She's okay. Or they'll go to my colleague, Lorraine Scott, and say, you really should come and talk to Lorraine because she's worked a lot with a lot of younger kids. So it's based on that principle of relationship and trust that people are actually willing to come and see a healthcare provider who's providing healthcare in a little less than traditional way of doing it. And what I mean by that is just that we don't have an office, we don't have the big white pearly gates. We are actually here in the community. Our colleagues are the people, are the workers at the daycare. The professionals are the daycare workers, the teachers. These are the people that I go to when I need some extra help and support with getting some collateral information. Thank you very much. And I just want to say it's been a tremendous privilege to be in this position. And I would like to share one example in which I really learned a lot about the community and how strong and powerful the community can be. And that's when I recently conducted a needs assessment in the community regarding youth and youth health issues. Out of that assessment, there's a very, very identifiable need in which young families, particularly youth between the ages of 15 and 30, who might be pregnant or have recently had young children, they didn't have a place to go to in the community where they could actually get a bit of a break, get some support, get all their health care needs met, because they're struggling. They're young, they have their new child, they're a new family. So I brought this forward to one of our community kitchen tables, which a lot of representatives from the community do attend. And the interesting thing is that this was not a new issue. The community was well aware of it. But now, because it was brought forth, it was quite amazing, because as I sat at that table, suddenly people started to say, well, you know what? We have that daycare space now, you know? I'm over across the street at NICES. What if we could use that space? And we do have nurse practitioners, and we do have adolescent medicine specialists. We've got the health care, and we do have Mother Goose. And Raycam said, you know, we could provide some food. So, my goodness, within a matter of weeks, we had a brand new group up and running across the street called Bright Family Futures. And I did bring a few flyers, and there's a bunch at the table at the back. And this is a place where young families can come, meet other young families their own age, dealing with the issues that we're all struggling with as young mothers and young parents. They would come there for free food, have free babysitting, because the children can get tended to while they maybe talk to the health professional about healthcare issues. Anything, it could be anything from talking about their child, perhaps reading my little boy is reading books all about girls. Should I get worried about that? Or, you know, I've got this spot on my arm. Could you take a look at it? It's kind of bugging me. And these are things that people normally don't have the time or the resources to go to see, to attend to their own health care needs. So all in all, it's actually been a fabulous experience. You know, when I first started in the program about 3 years ago, in our database, we had about 87 clientele. As of last week, we're up to 670. So that means 670 members of our community have actually come in and received some sort of health care. So it's a small little difference, but I think it's a big step, and I think it's the way to go in terms of having place-based as a place for getting your health care needs met versus having to find the time to go somewhere and to get your health care needs met. Because as we all know, finances, time constraints, sometimes just fear of going to those big white buildings, sometimes known as BC Children's Hospital, can be all too intimidating for some of us. And as a last little resort, if you could just indulge me, I just came across this story that I would like to share that I'm hoping addresses a lot of the health needs and does address a lot of the health needs that I've encountered in my practice. So if you can imagine just two little boys in a playground at school talking. One little boy says, "Hey, did you hear that Johnny's in the hospital?" "No. Why? What happened?" "Well, he's got this really bad infection in his leg." "Why? How did he get that?" "Well, he was playing in the playground near his apartment, but actually it's not really a playground, it's a junkyard, and he cut himself on a really sharp piece of metal and got infected." "Well, what was he doing playing in a junkyard?" "Well, there's no playground where he lives." "Well, why doesn't he move?" "Because his family doesn't have anywhere else to move to." "But why?" So on that note, I would just like to leave you with that, and thank you very much for your time.